Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. I am going to ask for a little bit of participation tonight because it's more fun for me if I can hear, that you're getting this and that you're getting the value. Um, alright, let me make sure you can see my screen. You should all be able to see that about right now. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So guys, I want to welcome you to tonight's webinar. The title, as you can see, it's the missing secret that seven-figure income earners use to build their wealth. And that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about the one single ingredient that when I plugged it into my business, it changed everything. Everything turned around. I went from doing okay and just getting along in this industry to having some massive success in what I was doing, and it was because of this one little thing. So I'm going to go through exactly what that is, and on top of that I also want to talk about how you can get extra $3,000 and $5,000 commissions on the back end of what you are already doing in the MOBE license rights program for no extra work. Okay, I know that sounds like a bold claim, how to get an extra $8,000 per customer for no extra work in the MOBE license rights program, but it's actually true, and I'm going to be walking you through exactly how it works. I want to start off by just asking you a question here and really getting your mind thinking the right way. I want to ask you, have you ever kind of sat down and really thought about what it would be like to be able to travel the world, visit exotic locations, live life on your terms? These are the kind of things that really get us into the industry. They're an instant $3,000 and $5,000 commissions. Have you ever wondered what that would be like? To be able to go to your bank and see a 3K commission or a 5K commission that you weren't expecting and that you're completely surprised by, but pleasantly surprised. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be able to just spend more time with your family? So if you have a job, possibly to work your way out of that job so you no longer have to go and you can stay at home. You can wake up in your house, and rather than going through that routine where you get ready for work, you don't have to do that anymore because you're going to be staying home that day. How many of you guys tonight, and by show of hands, do me a favor and really participate here. Let me know that you listen to this. How many of you would like me to share how to make more money in the MOBE license rights program? No extra work. Okay, I can see all the hands flying up. That's great. How many of you want to be driving a Mercedes in the next 30 days and have me pay for it? A brand new Merc. How many of you want to come hang out with millionaires in Mexico in a few short months? In fact, in less than 2 months. That's what we're going to be talking about, guys. I'm going to walk you through tonight how to get paid those extra 3K and 5K commissions. Again, no extra work on your part. How to make an extra $250,000 over the next 12 months. We're going to walk you through exactly what you would need to do that. I'm going to show you also how you can get all expenses paid holidays around the world, and you can come hang out with millionaires. How to add an extra zero to your income, and last of all, most importantly, the power of the mastermind. This is really what changed everything in my business, and if you get this right, I mean, this just changes everything. It really makes the whole thing a lot easier. So guys, I'm going to do my best to show you by the end of this presentation you're going to know more than 98% of home business industry owners in this industry about scaling your business to 7 figures and beyond. So let's get started. First of all, by now I'm sure you know about our MOBE Merc program. It's an incentive program where if you're getting steady sales every single month, and you don't even need that many, I will actually get you a Mercedes. And you might have noticed by now that quite a few people have got the Merc. You would have seen Carolina from Chile, Robbie Gonzalez from over there in the States, John Chow, you've all seen that really nice Merc he's got. I think it's an SLK or something, $130,000 Merc. Junjun Lee over in New York. I mean, more and more people are earning the Merc in MOBE, and it's actually, like I said, quite easy to get. You just need to be making a few license sales per month, and it's yours. And I want you to really to start thinking about that and start thinking about how you can actually get it. It's very nice to just dream about these things and to see the videos of other people getting the Merc and to think, well, that's nice for them. But what I want you to do, I want you to start thinking about when are you going to get yours, putting down a date, and what model do you want? Okay, I really do. I want you to think, what model do I want to get? Am I going to get? And I always tell people this, I highly recommend that you go down to your local Mercedes dealership. Okay, you walk down there, you look around at the cars, see what they have, see all the different colors, the different models, sit in them, take a few for a test drive, and decide which one you want. Decide which one you want, and then make a commitment to yourself that in X amount of days, you're going to be walking back into that Mercedes dealership, and you're going to be saying, I'm ready to get my Merc. Okay? That's what I want you to do. I want you to get very clear on exactly which one you want. When you have something in your mind, you know, when you have a target in your mind, and we'll talk about this as we go through tonight, it's much easier when you're very specific about what it is and you put a deadline on it. I remember when I was 17, for example, I decided, my friend and I, we were going through our exams and we just couldn't wait to be finished with everything, and we were talking about what we were going to do in the future, and we were telling each other, you know, this is what I'm going to be doing by this and that age. And I said my goal was to make $1 million before I was 25. That's what I told my friend I was going to do. And I was actually being quite serious about it. He thought I was maybe kidding around a bit, but I was actually being very serious about it. So over the next few years, that's all I thought about. Okay, that's all I thought about. I thought, how do I get to that level? So I went and started businesses. I started a little gardening business where I was making, I think, $15 per hour back then, and I started saving up money. But I realized pretty quickly that wasn't going to allow me to get where I wanted. So I started looking online at different businesses. And 2008, I must have been 21 or 22 at the time, I brought into a business, got started, and started working towards that goal. Now, for a number of years, that whole $1 million before I was 25, to be honest, it was just a dream. Okay, it was just a dream because I hadn't really got specific about it. I hadn't really broken it down and worked out what do I need to be doing on a daily basis to get to that level. So by the age of 24, when I had my 24th birthday, I wasn't even remotely close to that $1 million. I wasn't even 1/10 of the way. I was a long way off. And I realized, well, look, I've got 12 months here. I've got 12 months to achieve that goal. And if I keep on going the way I've been going, I'm not going to get there. I've got to get much more specific. So I started to really break down exactly what kind of numbers I'd need to be doing each day, and then what would I need to do to get those sales each day? Exactly what actions would I need to take? And I started to write down these goals and put them in front of me so I'd see them constantly throughout the day. And by the age of 25, I did manage to cross that target. Okay, I just got there. Now, the reason why I tell you that, this whole thing with the Mercedes, it's nice. I mean, we're looking at the pictures right now, and they look like very nice cars. But unless you get very specific about when you're going to get yours, it's not going to happen. Okay, that's just the way it is. So you've got to get very specific. What model do I want? What color? When do I want it? And I want you to really visualize what that's going to be like when you walk out to your driveway and sitting there's a brand new Merc. You get in, there's that new car smell, the leather. What song are you going to be playing first time you take it for a cruise? Okay, that's how specific I want you to get. Now, in order to get there, what is a mastermind? There's one thing going to allow you to get there. So a mastermind, I'm sure you've heard of this. And, I mean, just by show of hands, who here has read Think and Grow Rich? I want you to just raise your hand and let me know if you've read Think and Grow Rich. Let me have a look at the attendee list here. All right. Looks like, yeah, most of you have read it, right? So it's the whole story of Napoleon Hill, the author. He was commissioned by Dale Carnegie multi-billionaire. Okay, if you adjusted his wealth for inflation, he'd be worth a lot more than Bill Gates. He's commissioned by Dale Carnegie, this big steel magnate, and over the next few decades, he virtually follows around Dale Carnegie and studies him and studies what makes him so successful, and also other wealthy people too. And Carnegie, there's a line in that book where he said the single most important thing that he attributes his wealth to is the power of the mastermind. And his mastermind was himself and a few other people who were pretty high up in his company. Okay, and they would actually meet, I believe it was every week, or it might have been more often, but they would actually meet in a room, cigars, whiskey, and they would just discuss. They would just share ideas about how they're going to get to the next level. It was a meeting of minds. A mastermind is really about doing that. It's about when two minds come together and 1 + 1 = 3. It's where you get inspired thinking. But the most important ingredient in a mastermind is the other people in the room. Okay, that's what it comes down to. So if you're in the wrong room with the wrong people, it's not worth much at all. Okay, it's kind of like taking advice on how to build your online business from your friends, your family, people who might mean well, but they don't really know what they're talking about when it comes to this. They don't have any experience in this. Or it's kind of like taking advice on how to become wealthy from people who are broke, or from people who've never been wealthy. It doesn't make sense. So getting in the right mastermind is everything. Okay? Now, why do this? What gets me really excited in this industry, and really what drives me, I look at what we're doing right now, and I'm always focusing on how do we get to the next level in the business. But not just how do we get to the next level, but how do we, let me say this a different way. Let's pretend on your screen right now, over on the left side, there's point A, and on the right side, there's point B. We are at point A, and we want to get to point B, which is insert whatever thing you're trying to achieve. Okay, let's say you're trying to get to $50,000 a month. That sounds really nice to you, and that's what you'd like to achieve. Normally, in going from point A to point B, getting to the 50K a month level, you're going to go through a whole series of ups and downs. You're going to have a lot of challenges, and you're going to have to learn a lot through trial and error. So you can imagine this line from point A to point B. It's not a straight line. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, it's all over the place. And eventually you find your way at point B. Okay, if you stick at it and you're persistent. However, what gets me excited is there a fast track where we can jump from point A to point B and skip over all of that? Okay, we can skip over all of that. So rather than going from making $0 to $5,000 a month, and then $5,000 to $10,000 a month, and then $10,000, $15,000, and so on, that slow linear growth, how do we do that super fast? Okay, how do we go from making whatever it is, $5,000 a month, and then the next month jump up to $50,000 a month? That's what gets me excited. So I'm always looking for shortcuts. How do we do things much faster without all the normal typical trial and error? That's what a mastermind can do, and I'll tell you why. If you're in the right room with the right people, and these are the people that you're learning from, you're associating with, they've already done that, they can tell you what's coming for you, okay, because they've already seen the path. They can tell you all the challenges that you're likely to go through, and they can help you avoid 90% of them. So my whole point of telling you this is getting in the right mastermind. It's essentially like you have your own board of directors. Think of it that way. Look at someone like Bill Gates. Bill Gates, one of the smartest businessmen on the planet, he still has a board of directors. Okay, one of the members on that board is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett at one time was worth more than Bill Gates, and they'd be pretty close still today in terms of billions of dollars they have. But Warren Buffett, I think he's in his 80s now. He's, if you haven't heard of him, very famous investor. Okay, made multiple billions of dollars. I believe he's worth around 50, 60 billion dollars today through investing. A very skilled businessman. Now, he is someone that Bill Gates goes to for advice. Okay? My point is, even the best business people in the world, the top CEOs in the world who run billion-dollar companies, have people guiding them, have people that they go to for advice. Right now, who are you going to for advice? That's a question we'll come back to, but start thinking about who are you getting your business advice from. Bigger checks, more money, more time with your family. That's what a mastermind can give you. Now, the time to get in the right mastermind, a lot of us, when we're getting started in this industry, we hear about masterminds, we hear about what the investment is, and they're not cheap, because as they shouldn't be. Learning from the right people never is, okay? But a lot of us, we want to put that off. We hear about, okay, I can be in this mastermind, but I'm not quite ready yet. Okay, that's something I'll do later down the line. It's something I'll do when I'm ready, when my business is up and running a little bit. Then I'll go and join these high-priced masterminds and start learning from these people. And I was the same way. In my first few years in the industry, I wanted to figure everything out for myself. Okay, so rather than paying the money and learning from the right people, I figured things out through trial and error. That's why it took me several years before I started making steady, reliable, good income. Okay, I wanted to do everything myself. My advice to you, now that I have a little bit more experience, do not put this off. Okay, if you're thinking about getting in the right mastermind, it's something you've got to do now. Okay, time is money. If you put it off for a year, what's that going to cost you? Sure, you might save yourself $10,000, $20,000, whatever a good mastermind these days costs. But what's the opportunity cost? If you get in the right mastermind now and you're getting the right advice and you're able to take that advice and scale up, what will you be able to do within 1 year from now? Okay, how much money would you be able to make? But if you delay that, if you procrastinate and you wait 1 year, what's the real cost going to be? Sure, you might save yourself $20,000, but you also might miss out on $100,000 in income that you would have had if you'd had the right advice. Now, before you go thinking, well, what advice is worth $100,000? I can tell you about single consult calls that I've done over Skype that have resulted in millions of dollars. The MOBE license rights program, for example, that one single program alone for our business has been well over $1 million in revenue. That one single idea and implementing that idea came about through a Skype consult with someone in this industry that I spoke to. That was way back in, that would have been early 2011. I remember that very clearly, speaking to this guy who was a little bit of a mentor to me, especially in the beginning, and I'd started to think about the idea, but I couldn't really implement it. I didn't really know about it, about how to go about it. And after doing that 1 hour call, everything became clear, and I just went and did it. And I sold the first MOBE license rights program to a guy in Australia on a 4-month payment plan, $597 per month. I sold that personally on the phone, and from that moment on, that became the main program in MOBE, and we improved it and we scaled it up as we went along. My point is, if you get the right advice, who knows what it's going to be worth for your business, and getting in the right mastermind, that's what it's all about. The biggest secret to my success, and I tell people this often, these days I do things very differently to how I used to do them in 2009 or 2010 when I was really struggling. Back then, if you told me, Matt, you need to get a blog, okay, you need to get a blog, my answer to that was to go and buy 5 books on WordPress. And I'd learn every little bit of how to go and install a WordPress blog and read about all the plugins. And then finally, after several weeks or a month of studying and getting all the theory, then I would think about, okay, now I'm going to try and do this. These days I do things very differently. These days, if I want to do something, usually I'll just go and do it. And I'll just get it done. That's how my mind works now. I'm all about, okay, do it today, do it today, do it today. you know, it's just going on in my mind constantly. Do it now, do it now, do it now. And I don't even really have to think about it anymore. It's automatic. Okay, I just, if there's something I want to do in my business, or I know I should be doing to get to the next level, there's no pause between having the idea and implementing. We just go and do it. Okay, now it's taken a little while to learn how to think like that. My point, though, that I'm trying to make to you right now, if you are struggling, if you're not getting results, this is going to be one of the reasons. Okay, because you hear an idea and you think, oh, that's nice, that sounds good, I'd like to do that. But then that time period between the idea and implementing, if you ever do implement, is too long. Okay, and if you want to be in the entrepreneur's game, you've got to get used to moving very fast, because it's a very fast-paced world. Okay, so don't think of reasons why you can't be in a mastermind right now. Think of ways you can. That's what we do as entrepreneurs. We solve problems. I want to tell you a little story. This happened to me this would have been 2009. Towards the end of 2009. This car you're looking at, this isn't the car I used to drive, but it's pretty close. It's the same model. It's a Toyota Corona 1981. And this is the car that I was driving for a number of years, in fact. And so it's late 2009. I've been in this business that I brought into for $2,000. And then later, I invested another $38,000. And I've been in this business now for almost 1 year. And this business, it's a high ticket, top tier direct sales program, okay, or company. I joined this company for $2,000, late 2008. Don't do anything for a couple of months. Come back to the city, because I was on my parents' farm for a few months helping with the harvest. But I come back to the city early 2009, and I'm like, okay, now it's time to get down to business. I brought into this business that's going to make me millions of dollars. Now it's time for it to happen. So I really, having no clue what I'm doing, I get into this whole internet marketing thing, and I start buying course after course. I'm very excited about it, very enthusiastic. But before long, a few months have gone by, and I don't yet have any results. I hear about this company that I'm with. They're doing an event in Sydney, and I'm in Perth, Australia. That's on the other side of the country. It's kind of like flying from LA to New York. That's the kind of distance you're looking at. But I get on a plane and I fly all the way to Sydney for this one-day event for this company. And at this event, I hear about how there's 2 other levels in this company, and if you get positioned at those levels, you can make much bigger commissions. And they go through it, they go through the comp plan, and it makes sense, and I decide to do that. Now, with the exchange rate at the time, it was about $25,000 US total investment, and with the exchange rate, I ended up paying $38,000 Australian. To put that in perspective, if I was to do the same thing today, I would probably save myself about $15,000. Okay, but that's just the way the economy was. Remember, this is 08, 09, around that time. So I ended up investing $38,000 on top of my initial $2,000 in this company. That essentially wipes me out. I don't have any money left over after that, except for maybe $1,000 in the bank, and that's for living. That's everything. So all the money that I've been saving up ever since I was a kid, and I'd started driving the harvester when I was 8 years old for $4 an hour, everything has been put towards has been put into savings, and now it's all gone. Now it's all gone into this company that I've invested in. But the good thing is now I treated it like a $40,000 business, so I started taking it a lot more seriously. Unfortunately, though, I didn't really know what I was doing, and in this particular company, you had to make your own phone calls to make your sales. So I'm calling back these leads that I managed to start generating online, and it's very slow going at first because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to getting leads. But I figure it out slowly over time, and I start calling them back. And time after time, I hear the reasons why they can't move forwards with me. Okay, You know, they just don't have the money, or they've decided to join another company, or they've decided to join another rep in the same company. I heard that again and again. Because remember, I'm 21 or 22 at the time, and I'm like the shy guy who doesn't really know what he's doing, and no one really wants to partner with that guy, okay, at that time. So constantly I'm just getting disappointment after disappointment. And that goes on month after month after month. I've been in the business now for about 9, 10 months, somewhere around that amount of time, and I haven't made a single dollar, not one single dollar. And so here I am, I pull up in our driveway, and I park on the grass. I'm in this car that you're looking at, okay, and I pull up to the house that I'm renting, and my mother and grandmother, they were inside the house because they'd come to visit for some reason, okay? I'm sitting there in the car, and I've just got back from meeting a prospect in Perth, in my city, who was thinking about joining this company and was a lead that I'd generated online. So I'd traveled all the way to the other side of the city in this old car. It was barely roadworthy. I'd got dressed up, I'd brought along all my presentation materials, I'd gone all the way to her house, parked one block up the road so she didn't see this car, because here I was trying to put forth this image of prosperity, and I'm driving around a $200 car. I go and do my presentation, and it flops. It doesn't go anywhere. I drive all the way back to the house feeling pretty defeated. I'm sitting in the car, it's a hot day, and I look down at my phone, and there's a missed call from this one prospect, another prospect in the city. Now this prospect, to put it kindly, I mean, this, in all the years that I've been doing this industry, this person still is to this very day, after dealing with tens of thousands of customers, this one lady was still the most difficult prospect or lead that I have ever dealt with in all of these years. And I see a missed call from her. I've been going back and forth with this lady for a month, okay, for more than a month. Why? Because I thought she was going to join the company, and to be honest, I desperately needed a sale. I needed that sale, and it was going to be worth $1,000 commission to me. So I was putting up with all the excuses and so on for well over a month. I looked down at my phone and I see a missed call from her. I think, okay, I wonder what she wants. I call her back. She picks up, and it's costing me about $1 per minute on this cell phone plan that I have. And at the time, again, I don't have a lot of money, so I'm very conscious of little expenses like that. For the next 45 minutes, this lady is screaming and abusing me over, I can't even remember what it was, and that's just the way she was. You know, she's talking about how she's on my team and I should support her and I should build her websites and everything like that. And keep in mind, at this point in time, she's not on my team because she hasn't yet invested in the business. But I take it, okay? I put up with it, and for 45 minutes, I get abused by this lady. Finally, the call wraps up. There goes $45 that I really needed. And I'm left sitting there in the car. It's hot. The car stinks. It's a very old car. And I just feel completely deflated. And I know that in a couple of minutes, I'm going to have to walk inside, and my mother and grandmother are going to be there, and they're going to ask me things like, oh, okay, what have you been up to? How's the business going? And I'm going to have to put on a brave face and say, oh, it's going well. You know, it's going good. Because I don't want to tell them how miserably I feel and how I'm failing. That's what I felt like at the time. So I'm just left there sitting in this car for a few minutes, just trying to ready myself to put on this fake persona and pretend that everything's okay. And I started thinking about, why is this so hard? Why is this so hard for me? How come there's other people in this company, and I hear about them, I see them online, I see these other people in Australia who are in this company who are doing well, and they're newer than I am. They've been in the business for a month or 2 months, and they're making sales. How come they're getting results and I'm not? And I'm working harder than all of them. And I know that it's not because they're more intelligent or anything. They're just normal people, but they're getting results and I'm not. And I got really frustrated by that. And I started thinking about, well, what's different about them and what's different about me? And I start thinking, well, who am I getting my advice from? Who am I learning this business from? Who are my advisors? You see, at this particular time, this company was doing well in Australia, and it had come over from the States, so it had already done well in the States. And there were a few other people in this city that I lived in who were also in this company. And we had met at one of the events and all decided that we were going to meet up every week. So we would go down to this local bar, okay, every week, and we would meet and we would discuss how we were going to, do really well in this business. We were all excited. We were all excited about, how much we were going to make and everything like that. At the first meeting, there were maybe about 15 of us. I remember we all sat outside and we all met each other. We're talking about this company. We're sharing ideas and everything like that. The week after that, it dwindled down to about 13 or 12 people. The week after that, down to maybe 9. The week after that, down, and so on. Kept on going down. Finally, it got down to about 5 of us. 5 of us would actually show up at this meeting. And I realized these are the people that I'm learning from. These are the people I'm learning this business from. Okay? And this is essentially what our mastermind was. We would show up around 2 p.m. in the afternoon and we would start drinking. And this is, we didn't really drink this much. This is meant as a little bit of humor. But we would show up, we'd start drinking around 2 p.m., talking about this business. And by this stage, we were starting to get a little bit pessimistic because we'd all been in for a couple of months and none of us were making anything. And by about 5, 6 p.m., we were all a little bit drunk. Okay, that essentially was our first mastermind. So sitting there in my car that day, I realized, well, look, it's no wonder that I'm not getting any results. I'm learning from people who are also in this business who also are not getting any results. It makes sense. And I realized that the people who joined this company who did really well, they were not associating or they were not learning from other broke people in that company. They were finding people who were doing really, really well. They were seeking them out and then they were learning directly from them. That's how it was possible that someone would come into the company and a few months later they'd be doing $50,000 a month. Whereas I, by this point, 9 months in this company, making nothing. So it was just like a moment of clarity where I got, okay, that's why I'm not getting any results. I need to learn from the right people. So from that point on, I decided that, okay, I'm going to find the top earners in this company, and I'm going to just ask them exactly what they're doing. I'm going to start mixing with them. I'm going to start learning from them. And I found one guy in this company who was doing $1.1 million per year pure commissions. And this was the top earner in the company. To this day, he's one of the best phone sales closers that I've ever met. I would say, in my mind, he is the best in the entire industry. This guy was very, very good. And I found this guy online. I found his website. I opted in. I became a lead. Somehow I got in contact with him. And when I did, I said to him, would you mind sharing what you're doing with me? And at first, he didn't really take me seriously. So I had to follow up a few times. But over the next few weeks, I built up a little bit of a relationship with this guy because, he started to see that I was hungry, that I really wanted to do well. And finally, he said, well, look, okay, I continue the script that I use, and this is how I do my business plans, but do not share this. I do not want you to pass this around in this company, okay? Do not share this. I'm going to send this to you. It's for your eyes only. So he emails me, it's like 14 pages, this 14-page Word document, and it's a script. It's the script of what to say on the phone to get the high-ticket sales in this company. The high-ticket sales are the ones with the really big commissions. So I get it, and I'm very excited. Immediately upon seeing this Word document, I think, okay, this is how they're doing it. This is how the people who are getting results are actually doing this business. I've been doing it the wrong way all this time. So shortly after that, I'm talking to a prospect who happens to be also in Australia. they're on the other side of the country. I'm talking to them on the phone, and I'm literally reading through word by word this script. And I'd be surprised if, well, I don't think she could tell, but I'm kind of surprised she couldn't, because literally I'm reading word for word. And as I get towards the end of the last page, this is where I'm asking for a commitment. I'm asking her to invest in this business, and I'm going to possibly be getting a commission. I start getting a little bit nervous, because this is the moment of truth. This is what it all comes down to. And I get to the end, and when I ask for the commitment, I ask for the sale, she actually says yes. And my heart's pounding, because I'm thinking, hey, this is my first high ticket sale. But I don't get too excited yet, because how many times have you been talking to a prospect? It could be on Facebook or anywhere, and they've said, yeah, sure, I'm going to do it. And you think, great, I've got a sale. And then a few days later, no sale has shown up. Okay, you learn pretty quickly in this industry that until the money's in the bank, the sale is not made. So I don't get too excited. But a couple days later, I'm sitting on the couch watching something on TV, and I've got my laptop there, right there on my lap, checking my emails, and I see 2 emails come in Gmail. You know how it updates live in time, so you see the emails come in? But I see 2 emails that come in. And one of them says, new breakthrough member, and the other one says new destiny member. And in this company, they were the 2 high ticket levels. And I opened those emails, and it's this lady who said that she was going to go ahead with it, and she has. Now, at that point in time, what those emails were saying was that she had just invested $24,000. My share of that, because I also got the phone commission, because I'd made the sale on the phone, was $5,000 plus $9,000. $14,000 US, which at the time was a little bit over $15,000 Australian. Now, I will tell you that at that time, making $15,000 in a day, since that time, the business that I started has gone on to do millions and millions of dollars. And we've had days where we've done $60,000, $80,000 in a single day. It's not like we're doing that every day yet, but those days happen. They happen, fairly frequently. They happen every so often. But I will tell you that having an $80,000 day today was not even remotely anywhere near as exciting as having a $15,000 day back then. Because you see, back then, I'd heard that it was possible. And I'd seen all the claims online, make X amount of dollars per day. I'd heard about all of that. So, in theory, I knew it was possible, but I didn't know that it was possible for me. Okay, I hadn't actually seen that in my own bank account. So to suddenly have confirmation from the external world that, hey, this is possible, and to actually see those numbers in your bank account, that was the most surreal feeling that I've ever felt in my life, or one of them. Okay, because I'd put so much effort into this business, and to suddenly see the result. Okay, to suddenly have $15,000 in my bank account, and keep in mind, this was at a time when I was down to less than $1,000 left. Okay, in that bank account, where I desperately needed it. I remember at that time I had Google AdWords chasing me because I had racked up a bill on their platform, AdWords, for well over $1,000 and hadn't paid it in about 6 months. So they're sending me legal letters saying they're going to send a debt collection agency after me. I desperately needed the money at the time. And that completely changed my life for a few reasons. Number one, when I saw the high ticket sale come in, I realized how much easier is it to make a $15,000 sale than it is to make that same amount. Just everything, okay? And that, I want to ask you, just by show of hands, those of you who've ever heard, you've heard about the numbers. I'm sure you've seen all the numbers online. You've heard about all the income claims. What's that going to feel like for you when you finally get the result that you've been striving for? When you finally see those high ticket sales show up, and you see that in your email inbox, how's that going to feel? And the reason why I ask you that is, I want you to really, I want you to feel it now. I want you to feel like, I want you to imagine what that's going to feel like, because it's that feeling that you're really striving towards. That's what I desperately desired at the time, and that's what I was working towards. And I want you to imagine that, because when it happens for you, and it will happen for you if you get the right business and you work for it, it's going to change everything. Now you see that it's real. Okay, the result actually shows up in your life. You see it's real, and then best of all, once you've done it once, I will tell you this, and I want you to remember this. The hardest high-ticket sale that you will ever make is that first one. But once you've done it once, every single one that you do from that point onwards will be a lot easier, and they will get easier and easier and easier. The first one, though, is always the hardest, because in your mind, you're not quite sure if you can do it. You desperately want it, you want that result, but until you've actually done it, there's that small, lingering feeling of doubt, okay, that you can do it yourself. But when that result shows up, guess what? You then reflect on that. You reflect on that, and you ask yourself the question, well, what did I do to get that result? What specific actions did I take to get that result? And that's what I asked myself, and I realized, okay, I got a lead, I got on the phone with them, I built a relationship with them, and then I did this business plan, and I followed it step by step, exactly the way that 14-page document outlined. Can I do that again? And a couple months later, I did do that again. But that time it was worth about $16,000. The exchange rates went down or up or something, and it was worth slightly a little bit more. But it took me a couple months to do my next one, and then from that point on, they got the time difference, or the time lapse, it got shorter and shorter and shorter. And that's usually the way it works. But getting that first one, that's the hardest. The rest from that point on, it's all downhill. Now, at that point in time, see, I was excited. I was excited to finally have got results. But there was one thing that really concerned me, and that was I knew that I was bringing people into this company, and I knew how hard I was really struggling to get results. And I didn't feel good about that, okay, to be honest. I didn't really feel good about that, because I knew that most people that I would bring into this company, most people, they weren't going to be in my life situation. I mean, my situation at that point, I was 21 or 22, no mortgage, no family, no commitment, so I dropped out of college. I didn't really have any other commitments besides the business, and I didn't have anyone else to think about besides myself. Most of you on this call right now, I'm guessing that you're not in that kind of situation. You probably have a lot more commitments than I have. Some of you, in fact a fair few of you, have families. You have other people to think about. And you might not be able to devote 12-hour days to learning the business like I did in the very beginning. And even back then, I was aware of that. And I was aware that if I brought people into this company, I mean, they were going to have a hard time getting results. And that didn't sit too well with me. And I decided that if I ever go and build my own company, my own high-ticket direct sales company, I'm going to design it in a way where it's actually a lot easier for people to get results. Because I don't really like how hard this is for me. Okay, I've really had to struggle to get any results I got in the beginning, and I thought, well, most people aren't going to go through that. And I started thinking about, well, why is it so hard, or why was it so hard that first time? The single biggest reason, does anyone know what it is? If someone wants to type in, what do you think, just type it in right now if you think you know. What do you think was the hardest thing for me in the beginning, getting... Let me see what someone typed in. Phone calls. Okay, Mike Morrow typed in phone calls, yes. That's exactly what it was, making phone calls. I had no idea what I was doing. I had never sold high-ticket direct sales business opportunities before. I'd never been there on the phone asking someone to invest $20,000 in a business. I had no clue what I was doing. So I had to learn that from scratch, and really, I mean, if you've never done it before, it's the kind of thing that takes a little while to get really good at doing high ticket sales. It really does. So I decided that if I ever go and create my own high ticket direct sales program, I'm not going to leave the phone calls to the reps, to the people who join, because most of them are going to be new and most of them won't know what they're doing. Okay, they've never done it before. Sure, some of them could work it out, but the majority aren't going to work it out. The majority, at some point, they're going to see money going out, nothing coming in, and at some point they're going to say enough is enough, no more. Okay, so I decided that, look, if we ever do this, I'm going to find people who really know what they're doing, people who are really good at phone sales. I'm going to hire them, and then I'm going to pay them on commission to make sales for our new members, for our people who invest in this business. Most of them don't have that skill set yet to make high ticket sales on the phone, so we're not even going to leave it up to them. We're going to find people who are so good at it and who are working on pure commission. So if they don't get results, they go hungry. We're going to hire them, and then that's going to be their full-time role. And that's exactly how our phone team came about. We have people on our phone team who close sales for our members, and also, most importantly, they do it in a way that doesn't damage the relationship. There's two ways that you can sell high ticket on the phone. Well, actually, there's maybe a few more ways than 2 ways, but to keep it simple, let's break it down to 2 ways. You can do it with external persuasion. External persuasion is where I'm going to get on the phone with you and I'm going to tell you about how much money you're going to make, and I'm going to get you really excited about, you know, this new business that you're going to have, and I'm going to talk you into it. Now, that's not really pleasant for me to have to do, but also it might feel good for you at the time, but guess what? A week later, when that's worn off, you're going to come back to me and you're going to say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. You talked me into it. Because it's going to be like I persuaded you to do it and it wasn't your decision. And that's bad. We don't want that. Okay, we don't ever want to talk someone into doing something. We want people to talk themselves into doing something. And by that I mean we want people to persuade themselves, to motivate themselves to take action. So what we do with our phone sales, we simply ask questions. Okay, we ask the right questions at the right time, and our team is very, very good at it, but we never externally persuade someone into doing something. We let people make up their own minds, and usually when you do it the right way and you ask the right questions and the intent is to actually help that person, people come to the conclusion that it makes sense to move forwards and invest. So we still get really good results, but we also get people who are committed and stick with the business. Okay, do you see the difference there? But that's how we do it, and that's how we do it with our high ticket program. You would get paid quickly in under 2 weeks. We are moving to a 2-week payout schedule, by the way, for those of you on the live webinar. 2 weeks, you make a sale, you get paid the money 2 weeks later. You would have our unlimited support and training. So if you ever had a question, you could just go and ask someone in the business. You would have your own one-on-one coach working with you. You would also have your peers that you could reach out to. You would always have support. You wouldn't ever be left on your own, kind of like I was when I first got started. Now guys, here's the truth though about this industry, and this is what I realized early on, right from the start. So it was something like March 2009. I go along to that first ever live company event, okay? Keep in mind I've spent $2,000 with this company. I go along to their live event, and I hear that you can actually get access to an upgraded compensation plan when you invest in another 2 levels, okay? And you get some other perks with these 2 levels, but it sounds good. It's a big, big investment, and it's not an easy decision to make, okay? Remember, it's $38,000. I've never spent more than maybe $500 on any one thing at this point. So to suddenly invest everything I've got, plus more, plus I have to go and borrow some, that's a very, very big decision, and I don't take it lightly. It's not something that I can just do on the spot. I have to put some thought into that. But you know what the The single thing that really tipped me off the fence was there was one single thing that made me decide, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this. And that single thing was, well, here I was going to market this company and tell everyone how great this company was. And I believed it at the time as well. I thought it was a good company. Later on, I found out not the greatest company. But at the time, I thought it was a good company, and I did like their product. I was going to go and market this company, but how could I really go and fully market this company, tell people to get fully invested in this company when I myself was not willing to do that? When I myself had not invested in those high levels, how could I ask other people to do that? And I realized I couldn't. Okay, if I was going to market this with full integrity and tell people, look, this is what you should do, this is a great company, I had to be fully positioned. I had to be, for lack of better words, I had to be all in. Okay, that's how I had to be, all in. And at that time, I realized I wasn't. I was only half in. So I decided to go ahead with the investment and get fully positioned. That way I would be all in, and then that way I would be able to market this company to my prospects, and I would be able to tell them with confidence, this is the company you need to be in. And I'm fully positioned. I am a, you know, whatever it was, a Destiny member, which is the highest level. That's really what it comes down to. Funny thing is, I see people come into MOBE all the time. Now they have a choice between whether they get fully positioned or not. The ones who do get fully positioned, they're the ones who usually do the best. For example, I just had a comment from Mike Moran. Mike Moran's on the call. Those of you who don't know Mike, I met Mike a couple months ago. I'm doing the Home Business Summit event, live event, Long Beach, in California. It's a 2-day event, and I meet Mike at that event. He comes up to me at the reception, and straight away I know this guy's a bit of a joker. He jokes around a bit. He says, who are you? What are you doing here? You know, and he's joking. He obviously knew who I was. It was my event. And I get to meet Mike, and the day after that event, he hangs around a little bit, and I also hang around. We're at the hotel. We're talking in the lobby. And I tell him about the different levels we have in MOBE, okay, and how he can get fully positioned. And I don't really high-pressure sales him or, you know, try and sell him into doing it. I don't really do any of that. I just explain here's how it works. And then I say to him, well, look, do you want to do this? And he says yes. And he pulls out his credit card. Straight away he does it. An hour later he does the second one. Now he's fully positioned. Several tens of thousands of dollars done, decision, less than an hour maybe, the time span between them. He gets fully positioned from the very start before he's ever made a sale. About 5 weeks later, I'm doing the Supercharged seminar in Chicago, and I'm calling out his name and telling him to come up on stage because I want to hand him a big check. Now, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head that he made in the first 30 days. And Mike, if you are on the call, if you can maybe type that in for me, tell me a little bit about, or tell me what that number is. But in his first 30 days, it's something like, 1 second, let me read this out. 20K, okay, $20,000. Now, I think that's pretty cool. Okay, your first 30 days, 35 days, whatever it was, $20,000 in commissions. Now, do you want to know one of the reasons why he was able to do that? It's because when he markets this to his list, and he's telling his list about MOBE and why they need to get fully positioned, he can tell that story. He can say, well, look, I myself am fully positioned, I myself invested in these high-ticket programs, and therefore I'm recommending that you do too. Do you see the difference between that and what most people do? Most people, they're like, well, look, I'm going to dip my toe in the water a little bit, and I'll see if this works, and then I'll decide later on. Do you see the difference in attitude, the difference in perspective? That was immediately apparent to me in March 2009. I realized that, look, if I'm going to market this online, I'm going to get fully positioned because I want to be able to tell my people I got fully positioned from the start. I didn't dip my toe in the water. I got fully positioned before I ever even made a sale. Before I ever received any external confirmation from the universe that this could work for me, I was willing to take a leap of faith and get fully positioned because I knew that I was going to make this work. And I did. I always knew that I was going to do well in this industry. It was just a matter of time. That's what I would tell myself. So after a couple of years of having ups and downs, and still not really having the results I wanted, even then, even after several years, I still kept on going because I knew, look, no matter what, I'm going to make it in this industry. That's what I would tell myself. No matter what, I am going to make it in this industry. I don't know when, but I am going to do it. And that's how I want you to approach this. So what are we working towards here? What's the big goal of MOBE? And I want to share this with you because it's very important. My goal by the end of this year is for us as a company to have done $20 million in revenue, okay, by the end of this year. Now, you've got to understand that when I wrote this goal, this was about 15 months ago when we had barely crossed the $1 million mark. So to suddenly say, well, look, it's taken me three years to make $1 million, but in the next year I'm going to make another $19 million. This was a big goal at the time. And most people who heard it thought, oh, you know, that's just a bit of hype. But we are actually on track to do this. Okay, and I've kept this at the forefront of my mind for the last 14 months, and I've broken it down to what we need to be doing on a daily basis in terms of product sales, and this is what we're working towards. Now, why are we doing this? Is this all about me? Absolutely not. MOBE is not really about me because the truth is I'm a small part of this. What this is all about is actually our partners. MOBE is more about our partners. Without our partners, we wouldn't be 1/10 the size we are today. It's all about the partners. So getting to $20 million in revenue by this time, it's all about paying out most of that to partners like you on the webinar. Now, why would I want to do that? Someone maybe have a guess. Why do you think I would want to do that? I'll tell you. The reason is, I mean, you've all heard that little quote by Zig Ziglar. Help enough people get what they want and you can have everything you want. I realized that in order for me to get what I want in this industry, I would have to help a lot of other people do very well. And that's really what it comes down to. If you want to do well in this industry, if you want to make millions of dollars in this industry, it's all about helping other people get what they want. Now, I used to hear that 5 years ago, and I used to think, oh, that's nice. And I thought, oh, that's just, you know, that's a bit of, you know, personal self-help. You know, it's one of those cute little sayings. But it didn't really mean much to me at the time. I didn't really think too much of it. And I'd hear people repeat it over and over, and I thought, yeah, they're just saying that. But now I realize it's actually very true. Okay, and now I actually really do understand what it means. This is how I want you to think. Okay, if you want to do well in this industry, you've got to help other people do well. That's really what it comes down to. But this is what we're working towards. How do we get the majority of $20 million in commissions paid out to partners around the world? This is why we're growing so quickly, because this is what leads all of our decisions. This is what guides us. In order to get to that level, in order for you to do well and start getting everything you want, this is what it comes down to. You've got to get in the right mastermind. Okay, getting in the right mastermind gives you ultimate freedom. It's like in that very beginning, I realized I was in the wrong mastermind and I started seeking out the right people. Shortly after that, I had my first $15,000 day, okay, because I made a point to learn from the right people. Now, most of you, though, you're still going through these challenges, and this is what you're thinking about. Most of you, a lot of you, you're thinking, well, look, I'm still not making money in internet marketing. I've been in this industry for now several months, some of you several years, and I'm still not getting those results I want. Commissions are too small, okay? Even in the license rates program, it's a great program. It's our main program in MOBE. It's done very well, and the people in that program, on a whole, it's got a very high success rate. Compare it to any other system out there, it's done very well. However, even in the MOBE license rates program, your commissions go up to $1,200, okay, $1,200. And while that's good, it's good to get those sales. Getting one of those every week, that's nice, but that's still $50,000 a year. That's enough to maybe live off, but to support a family, to support yourself full time, it's not really enough. Okay, we're not looking to get by. We don't go into business just because we want to get by. We go into business because we don't want to have to work again at some point. Okay, we want our businesses to be able to grow to a size where now we have enough residual income coming in that we don't have to keep on working. That's really why we're doing this, isn't it? So the MOBE license rates program, it's a great program, but even there, the commissions are too small. A lot of you, this is the single biggest complaint I get. And if you feel like this is true, I mean, just type in. If anyone feels like the single thing holding me back right now are leads. I can't get enough good leads. Who can relate to that? And I just want to know. Someone type that in. Okay. All right. Comment box is going a little bit crazy right now. People are typing in leads. I can't get leads. I don't have a coach or a mastermind. I don't have the right people to learn from. I'm learning from the wrong people. I can't make high-ticket sales on the phone. I don't know what I'm doing on the phone. I've never sold high-ticket before. These are most of these are the challenges that most of you are facing. And guys, this is the solution. The Titanium Mastermind and the Platinum Mastermind. I want to tell you why. I want to tell you what's different about these masterminds. Number one, the quality of this mastermind event, or these mastermind events. Most masterminds that you go to, they're nice, but you usually go to some dingy hotel and you sit in a room at the bottom of that hotel in uncomfortable chairs with other people. And you talk about things. Okay, but that's usually it. You're living on hotel food for 3 days and then you go home. And that's it. That's the mastermind. What separates these masterminds, and I'll tell you about this a little bit later on, but these masterminds, you're going to a 5-star resort, to very exotic locations around the world. Like our last one was in Fiji. The one we have in less than 2 months, Titanium, is in Cabo San Lucas. Platinum 2014 is going to be in Costa Rica. You go to these exotic locations, you stay at a 5-star resort, and everything is taken care of for you. Food, drinks, entertainment, accommodation, it's all paid for. These actually work. People are making money with these masterminds every single day. I can't tell you how excited I am. I released a video yesterday. I'm not sure if you guys saw it. I'm about to do a contest where I'm offering $50,000 in cash, okay, to our MOBE partners. And the way this contest works is you're going to get points, okay? With these masterminds, these are going to be worth a lot more points. So you're actually going to start seeing live updates every couple of days of who is getting points. When you see that, you're going to see that people are making mastermind sales every single day. These actually work. And they're also making 3K and 5K commissions. Most masterminds you go to don't allow you to do that. They don't pay out commissions. Like I said, all expenses paid. But with these masterminds, what separates them from all the other masterminds out there is that you also get coaching, one-on-one coaching. You have your own coach working with you, helping you implement in your business, guiding you, walking you through anything you don't understand, literally one-on-one. You don't get that with most masterminds. Now, when it does come to masterminds, though, there are some common myths. People believe, well, look, masterminds are expensive. If a mastermind is $20,000, who's going to invest in that? You know, if I'm promoting a mastermind and I'm expecting to get a big commission, sure, the big commissions are great, but who really has $20,000? That's a myth. Okay, that's a myth. Here's the answer. If someone wants to find $20,000, they will. And I don't care who it is. I know that I'm going to get probably a little bit of heat from saying this, but anyone, if they want, will find $20,000. And I mean anyone. I'm being very serious about that. Let me prove it to you. Imagine And God forbid that this ever happens, but let me just make a point here. I want you to think about the person in this world that you care about more than anyone else. I want you to think about that person. Who is that person? Get them in your mind, okay, their name, who they are, their face, imagine them in your mind. Now I want you to imagine that they came down with a mysterious illness. And upon going to the doctor, you found out that it was a very rare and new virus. And that with this virus, which by the way had no known cure, they had less than 1 week to live. Now, you're devastated by this. You're in shock. You can't believe this. They can't believe it. And it's horrible. 3 days later, you find out through your doctor that there's been some surgeon in Switzerland who's discovered some miracle cure, and he's got this cure in this little in this injection. With this one single injection, you are cured of this virus, and no longer do you have that death sentence. Okay, you can live the rest of your life. The only problem is it's extremely expensive to make. It actually takes almost 6 months to make one single shot. It's very expensive. It's actually $50,000 for this cure. Now my question to you is, could you find $50,000 to save that person that you love? If you had to. If you really, really had to. If their life depended on it. Would you be able to find that cure? Most of you, I'm going to say, yes, you would. Now, you might be thinking right now, well, no, I couldn't. But I'm telling you that if you really, really had to, if you really had to come up with that money, and if you had a big enough reason for why you needed to come up with that money, I'm sure you would find a way. You would do whatever it takes to find that money. You would borrow it, you would steal it, you would do whatever you need to do to get that money. The point I'm making here is that very rarely, and this is something I want you to remember if you're going to be in sales, very rarely is it a lack of money that stops someone from moving forwards. If someone wants something badly enough, they will always find the money. This is a lesson that I've learned over and over and over again. I've seen millions of dollars in sales in our own company. I've seen tens of thousands of customers, and I've seen people, for example, who were working at McDonald's and were down to their last few $100s. I've seen them go and get $5,000 a couple of days later when I really didn't think they could. I've seen them go and do it. I've seen those kind of things again and again. The point I'm making here is that if someone wants to raise the money, they will usually find a way. When you're selling masterminds, if the mastermind is valuable enough, and if that person perceives it to be valuable enough, they will go and find the money. So don't let this whole, the economy's in a hole, no one's got any money, don't buy into that. It's complete bull. Okay, it's not true. If people want to find the money, they will. This is just another IM event, another internet marketing event. This is how some people think about masterminds. People who think about masterminds that way, they've never been to the right mastermind. Masterminds are very different to internet marketing events. You go to an internet marketing event, you're sitting there, you pay a few $100s, and they're valuable. They are valuable. A mastermind is different though. A mastermind, you go there and you experience it. Okay, you're actually out there in the field doing these fun activities and rubbing shoulders with very successful people, multi-millionaires, getting one-on-one time with them. It's completely different to the whole passive experience of going and sitting in an internet marketing seminar. Very different. Now guys, I want to walk you through what I like to call my 5 prosperity principles. These are 5 things that have helped me do very well in this industry, and that I think that if you implement them into your own business, will help you do very well too. Principle number 1, you've got to know what you want. And I'm going to go through these one by one. Principle number 2, join the right mastermind. Okay, notice I say the right mastermind. Principle number 3, follow the right plan and strategy. Principle number 4, you've got to find a coach that's been where you want to go. And principle number 5, automate and outsource. Let's go through these one by one. So the first one, know what you want. I want to tell you a little story. So going back to whenever it was, March 2009, I go along to this event in Sydney. I fly all the way there to this event for this company that I've invested in. And somehow on the Sunday, I end up sitting next to the founder of this company during lunch. I'm sitting right next to this founder. And he's a big guy. He's one of the two co-founders of this company. And I'm like this 21, 22-year-old shy kid, so I don't really know what to say to him, but I'm kind of a little bit starstruck. I'm looking up to him like he's some kind of god. And I catch this ring that he's wearing. I see the shine of this ring on his right hand, and it's on the table right next to me. And he sees me looking at it. It's this big, big diamond ring, okay? And he tells me that this is called the Freedom Ring. And the way that you get the Freedom Ring in this company is you make 100 sales of their $2,000 program. Once you made 100 sales, you qualified for this ring. And he says, do you want to try it on? And I say, sure. And I put it on my hand. It's about 3 sizes too big. And I'm looking down at it on my small hands, and I pull out my phone and I take a photo of it on my hand. For the next year, I'm walking around with that photo saved on my phone. I'm seeing it probably 15 times per day. And for the next year, my life becomes about getting that ring. Not because of the material value of it. It's like, he said it's like a $10,000 ring, but because of what it represents. It's like a symbol of accomplishment. And I know that if I can get that ring in my mind, I feel like I've achieved my goal in this company. I feel like I've reached a certain level. And that's what kept me going. So when I started MOBE and I decided to start our own high-ticket program, I decided that we were also going to have a ring, just because of what it represented. It's about having a target in your mind and working towards that target. So what we did is we had this ring custom designed. It's called the Platinum Mastermind ring. And when you get 20 platinum sales, I will actually buy you one of these rings. It's made out of solid platinum. Platinum's worth more than gold currently. Okay, the metal alone, the ring's worth about $4,000, and it's got something like 39 diamonds all around it. But it's still fairly subtle. I didn't want anything too flashy or cheesy. I didn't want like a, you know, a 50-cent, you know, wrapper ring, you know, nothing like that. But this, the reason why I show you this is because knowing what you want and having specific targets in your mind for what you're looking to achieve, whether it's a Mercedes, whether it's a ring, whether it's a certain income level, you've got to get very specific on what you want, okay? So start thinking about what are your income targets. In fact, on this call right now, I want you to take a pen and a piece of paper. I want you to do this right now. Now, note, you can listen to me. You can keep on listening to me and not do this. But if you do that, you're not going to get the full impact of the lesson. So find a pen, find a piece of paper, and just take 10 seconds right now to write down what's your income target. What would you like to be making 30 days from now? What would you like to be making 1 year from now? I always like to set monthly targets. Okay, monthly targets. How much would you like to be making? What kind of house do you want? What kind of car do you want to be driving? Okay, that's why I said go down to your local MOBE dealership, find what car you want to be driving. What exactly would your ideal life look like? So I want to tell you about a guy, John Chow. John was one of our partners in MOBE and still is to this day. A little while ago, John got this car. It's a $130,000 SLK Benz, Mercedes Benz. And I'm actually paying for it. John doesn't pay a cent for this car. He drives it around San Diego, I believe he lives, and he doesn't pay a cent for this car. Now, the reason why John got this car is because he got very specific about what he wanted. He said to himself, look, I want to achieve this level. I want to earn this car. What do I need to be doing in sales to get the car? And then he went about doing it. Shortly after, the results showed up. Okay? And then there's John getting a check. At the start of this year, in fact, $128,000. And this is pretty cool. 4 months later, $128,000 goes up to $206,000. That's pretty cool, right? Now, the reason why I show you that, that result does not happen by accident. That's the result of getting very clear about what he wanted and then going for it. This is why I say you have to have targets. You have to have targets. Do not say to yourself, oh, I just want to make enough money to get by. That's a lousy target. Number one, it's not specific enough. Number two, you may as well get a job. My point is, if you're going to be in business, set a big goal. I don't want to hear anyone in MOBE who's looking to make less than $100,000 a year, bare minimum. Okay, and even that, in my mind, I think you're aiming way too low. Aim high, pick a big income number that you would like to achieve, and then break it down into what you need to be doing on a monthly basis to get there. That's how you're going to get the big check. Principle number 2, join the right mastermind. You really do need to surround yourself with successful people. People who are doing well in MOBE. This is why it is so important that you get to all of our live events. Our top partners, the ones getting the biggest checks, guess what? They're the ones who always get to events. And I'm being serious about that. When I call out their names and I say, here's who's getting the big checks, very rarely are those people not at the live event who have earned big checks. Most of them are actually there, so they can come up on stage and get their big check. So get to the Home Business Summit events, get to the Supercharged seminar, get to Titanium, get to Platinum. Make sure you show up live to every single event. Create strategic alliances. One of the best reasons that you will ever go to a mastermind, besides the value that you get at the mastermind, is because those people that you meet, they will become your joint venture partners in the future. I've had joint venture partners where we've done hundreds of thousands of dollars together, and I met those people at masterminds. Every single mastermind that I've ever gone to has by far more than paid for itself, just on those connections alone. Okay, so if you go to masterminds, if you come to Titanium, if you come to Platinum, that can be one of your goals. Come away from that mastermind with one single connection that you can do business with later on. At a bare minimum, just one. And if you can do that, you've more than paid for whatever you invested to be there. Accountability. One of the best things about being in a really good mastermind is that these people that are there, they're also there for the same reasons as you. They're looking to get ahead. But most of us, we struggle with accountability. So you can actually team up and you can keep each other accountable. So the Titanium Mastermind, I was going to play this video, but I won't play it for you now. If you want to see the video, find me on Facebook and let me know, and I'll send you the YouTube link. Okay, and I'll show you that video. But basically, that just explains what we're doing at Titanium. Prosperity principle number 3, follow the right plan and strategy. So guys, if you want to do well in this industry, you've got to develop systems. You've got to develop systems to take your leads through to turn them into customers. Systems work by themselves. You run a system, but you're not actually there doing all the work. This is how it's possible. For example, I'll tell you another little quick story. I went over to the States recently. I flew all the way over there from Perth, Australia, and I ended up in Baltimore. It took me about 40 hours to get there, literally, in flights and layovers at airports. That's why I try not to go over unless I really need to for a live event. But I flew all the way there, 40 hours. I finally get to the resort in to the hotel in Baltimore, and I'm dead tired. But I open up my laptop, I get online, and I look at our merchant account, and we've done more money in those 2 days than we normally do in any 2 days. We've done very well in those 2 days. The reason why I tell you that is I myself was not there. I myself was not working the business in those 2 days. I was on planes and at airports. But the business kept on going without me being there. Why? Because I had systems in place. You've got to develop systems, otherwise all you have is a job. You've got a self-created job. So it's all about having the right systems. Prepare marketing. You've got to keep those new leads coming in. You've got to constantly be filling that pipeline. Never get comfortable with the sales that you're doing right now. Always be thinking about, well, where are next week's or next month's sales coming from? That's what I'm always asking myself. That's why we continue to invest in our paid marketing. We want new business always coming in. Get sales and fulfill orders. That's really what it comes down to. Now, who's heard of the Pareto's principle? Just by show of hands, those of you on the call, if you could raise your hand and let me know. Pareto's principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. Basically, 80% of the results are caused by 20% of the inputs. So if we look at the people in this industry who are making 80% of the money, you would find that they make up less than 20% of all the business owners. How's that possible? Well, that's just the way it is. That's the way the numbers break down. Now, you make a decision as to whether you want to be in the 20 or the 80. But did you know that the 20%, we can break that down into 80-20 as well? You can get the 20% of the 20%, and that's called the 4% club. Now, the 4% club are people like John. Okay, you just saw John with the big check in the car. That's the 4% club. Not everyone is cut out to be in the 4% club. It takes a very strong desire and it takes some work to be in the 4% club. But the 4% club, those are the people who do multiple 6 and 7 figures in this industry. I want to ask you, where do you belong? Where do you want to be? And be straight with me on this. Where do you actually want to be? Do you want to be in the 80? Do you want to be in the 20? Or who here wants to be in the 4% club? If you want to be in the 4% club, that's a great goal to have. That's something you've got to work towards. But you decide where you want to be. Junjun Lee. Junjun decided he wanted to be in the 4% club. Last year, I did an event called Add the Nitrous. It was my second live event. And Junjun came along. He flew all the way from New York. He flies all the way from New York to San Diego to attend this event. He wasn't even on my list at the time. He saw some update I did on Facebook and decided on a whim that he would attend this live event on internet marketing. He didn't know anything about internet marketing at the time. He was about as new as they come. He goes along to that event, and at that event he becomes a licensee, and he also becomes a platinum member that same day. Okay, I remember it clearly, on the Sunday. He was really, really enthusiastic about it. Now, I'll be honest, when Junjun came up to me at the back of the room and said he wanted to do it, and he wanted to go platinum, I didn't know what kind of results he was going to get. I thought, well, look, I hope he does really well. I can see he's enthusiastic, but he is very green. He's completely new to the industry. He's got about 2 days experience. Let's see how he does. About a month later, I start seeing some sales coming in, and I look at who the partner is, and that's what I do. Whenever I see sales coming in, I see who made the commission. And I find out it's Junjun. And Junjun's starting to make steady sales. And over the next few months, he starts making titanium and platinum sales as well. Shortly after that, he actually earns a Mercedes Benz. Okay, he earns a Mercedes as part of our program. That's him shopping for a Merc. He didn't end up choosing that one, by the way. He actually chose a grey one. But he did get the Merc, and if you go to mobemerc.com, you'll see the video of him driving around in a brand new Mercedes Benz, paid for by MOBE. So that's someone who decided, look, I'm going to do well in this industry, and he just went and did it. Even though it was completely new, he just got to work. Prosperity principle number 4, find a coach that's been where you want to go. Someone who's already been there, done that. Remember at the start of the webinar I told you, in going from point A to point B, there are shortcuts. And you can find people who've already done it. You can get their advice, and you can skip all those ups and downs. And that's what you do. When you find someone who's already got the experience, it saves you having to spend years of painful, expensive trial and error. That's why a mastermind is so valuable. Use our certified titanium and platinum coaches. We have coaches who are in those 2 programs who will work with you one-on-one, and I'll tell you about how you can work with them in just a moment, but they've been there and done it. Okay, they're getting results, and they will work with you one-on-one and show you exactly what you need to be doing. Here's one of them, for example, Robbie Gonzalez. Robbie's a platinum member. Have a look at that image on the right. This was at the Chicago Supercharged seminar, and Robbie posted this on Facebook. He said, "Matt giving me an 18K check from stage." Pretty awesome. That was for his commissions at MOBE for not even that long a period. And that picture there on the left, that's the brand new Mercedes that he got for his family, his wife, and he's got 2 young kids as well. That's all paid for by MOBE, simply because he got to work, he started promoting, and now he's earned a free Mercedes. Principle number 5, automate and outsource. Okay, so guys, most people who get into this industry, they go into this industry to create a business, but they end up having a job. That's because they end up doing all the work. Okay, they're doing all the work. You don't want to be doing all the work. You want to outsource most of the work so you can focus on what you're good at, and so you have plenty of time for rest. It's important that you're not constantly working, otherwise you're going to burn out pretty quickly in this industry. Automate with systems. Like I said before, you've got to have systems, otherwise you're doing all the work. Start thinking about, what can I outsource today? Phone sales, emails, webinars, direct mail. All of that you want to outsource so you can focus on what you love and you can enjoy your life. And that's what we've been able to do with the Titanium and Platinum Mastermind. Essentially, for the first time in the history of this industry, you can be a part of these programs, these masterminds, you can be promoting them, and you can have the best phone closers in the industry working for you. Okay, they're making calls for you, and they're getting you 3K and 5K commissions. As part of these masterminds, you can also have leads generated for you. In fact, we're going to build your list for you. I'll tell you a little bit about that in just a moment. You can have the chance to make $3,000 and $5,000 commissions every time our phone team gets you a sale. This is in addition to whatever you make on the MOBE license rates program, and it's no extra work on your part. We do all of that for you. Now, like I said, this is not part of the MOBE license rates program. This is for you if you want to take things to the next level. Carolina, for example. Carolina from Chile, she's a platinum member. She got into this industry. It's actually funny. I sold her the MOBE license rates program myself when I used to make the phone calls. This was quite some time ago. And not that long after that, she decided that she wanted to go titanium and platinum. And she'd started out in this industry just to make a little side income on the, on the side. And she got her first few sales, and then she realized, well, look, if I take this a little bit more seriously, maybe this could become my full-time income source. This could become my main income source. And that's what she did. She got promoting. Shortly after that, she got this brand new Mercedes that you see her standing next to. And again, you can see her on mobemerc.com. You can see her video. Every time someone gets a Mercedes, and if you get yours, I'm going to ask you to make a short video. Okay, in that video, you'll be able to use that in your marketing. And we also show that on our pages as well, in our marketing. David, this is David from Perth, Australia, my city. David actually picked up this brand new Mercedes, and this is quite funny because I saw David getting close to having achieved enough sales to get the Merc, and I said, okay, there's a local Mercedes dealership. Do you want to go down and let's take a look around. Let's see which one you're going to get. So I took my camera down, and this is us looking around at different Mercs, and this is the one he wanted. We took a photo. A few weeks later, it was his. Okay, he brought it. He's got a wife. I believe he's got 2 kids, and now they're able to drive around, take weekend trips in this brand new Merc. By the way, this happened shortly after too. This is what happens when you get a titanium and platinum sale. Don't be surprised if you get a message from me on Facebook, or if you get a phone call from me out of the blue. I'll usually reach out to you and I'll tell you, hey, you just made a 3K commission, or you just made a 5K commission. In this case, David made both. He had one of his MOBE licensees. They stepped up to titanium and platinum. So he actually made $8,000 all up one day, and he had no idea that it was coming. And he says, awesome, I'll definitely be coming to Cabo now. Cabo San Lucas, where we're doing the next Titanium Mastermind. So guys, I want to ask you this question. Are you going to be the next success story in MOBE? Are you going to be at our next Supercharged seminar coming up on stage to accept a big check? You've got to make that decision whether you want to do that. Mike Morin, who you heard from earlier on this call, that's what he said to me when he decided to go titanium and platinum, and he handed me his credit card and said, okay, let's do it. He told me that in 30 days from now, when we're doing the Supercharged seminar in Chicago, he wants to be coming up on stage and getting a big check. 30 days later, that's exactly what happened. That's how this works. You decide, do you want to be our next success story? Do you want to be getting a check? Do you want to be getting the Merc? And then you go about making that happen. So I want you to take a moment and just picture this. I want you to picture that you are living a life where you're not worried about money anymore. You're not concerned about money. That's not the preeminent thought going on in your mind. When you go out to restaurants, you're not worried about what the meal's costing. When you want to take a holiday, you're not having to shop around for the cheapest motel. You're able to stay in 5-star luxury. You're able to take your family where you want to go. You're able to spend more time at home with your kids. You're able to live life on your terms. You don't have anyone else dictating when you should get up, when you should show up to work, when you should take your lunch break, and how much you're worth. All of that is completely up to you. And in this life, that's how you do it. Okay, you decide what you want to do, when you want to do it, and with who you want to do it with. That's what you have to think about, because this is what's going to be your motivation in this industry. Even for me, 2008, 2009, when I was brand new to the industry, this is what kept me going. Okay, this is what motivated me to keep on going, even when I didn't get results in the beginning. I thought to myself, well, look, there's got to be a better life than this. Surely there's more to life than me just finishing my university degree and then going and getting a job in finance and working 12-hour days, and that's it. I mean, I thought, that's depressing. I don't want to spend the next few decades doing that. Surely there's a better way. And there is. There is a better way. And you just need to decide whether you want it or not. If you want it, you've got to get in the right mastermind. That's really what it comes down to. And you've got to have the right business model that's going to get you there. And this is what is going to get you there. Our Titanium Mastermind. I want to tell you a little bit about Titanium. When you become a Titanium member, you get access to the Titanium level commissions. Okay, so every license sale you get, you're also making an extra $3,000 per sale. You get to come to our Titanium Mastermind, which is on the, write this down by the way, it's on the 28th of September this year, so it's coming up very fast. It's in Cabo San Lucas. It's a 3-day, 4-night mastermind, and this is where it's going to be. This is the Sheraton Resort. I've rented out the entire resort. It's got 210 rooms. We've rented every single one of them. So this whole resort is going to be crawling with Titanium members in just a few months. And it's going to be our entire resort for just a weekend. Just our group in MOBE. No one else. We're going to have all the pools, all the restaurants. The rooms are beautiful. I stayed there myself. I went to Cabo San Lucas a few months ago, and I stayed at 5 different resorts for about 2 nights each, choosing which one was the best. And this is the one I chose. It was also one of the more expensive ones, but it was classy, very classy. It's not like a motel or something like that. It's really, really classy. It's on the beach. It's beautiful. You're going to really, really love it. And by the way, the speakers, if you see the speakers we have coming, I mean, it's amazing. I've got a list in front of me. Have you ever heard of Joe Sugarman? Who's heard of Joe Sugarman, by the way? If you haven't heard of Joe Sugarman, I'm a little bit surprised. Joe Sugarman is pretty much, he's one of the few real legends that we have in this industry. Someone who's been around for decades, He's wrote many books on copywriting, direct response marketing. He's been doing this for more years than I've been alive, literally. And he's decided that he's going to be speaking at Titanium. James Schramko, multi-millionaire affiliate here in Australia. Mike Hill, ask any of the internet marketing gurus that you know who they learn from or who they really respect. Mike Hill gets a lot of praise. He's one of the best paid media experts out there. Larry Bennett. Larry Bennett is, his name is the connector. He knows everyone. He knows literally everyone in this industry. Like all the gurus you've heard of, all the famous authors, he's the guy who will get you connected to any of these people. In fact, that's how I got connected to Joe Sugarman and people like that, through Larry. Who else do we have? Mike Keenings. Mike Keenings, 8-figure business. 8 figures, over $10 million per year. Very well-known guy in internet marketing. Lisa Grossman built a huge network marketing team in the tens and tens of thousands. Curtis Broom, CEO of a $300 million per year network marketing company. Dave Van Hoos. Dave, I paid $10,000 to for one single day of consulting, and I did that last month. And if you want to know what that was for, come to Titanium and I'll tell you. But Dave is very good at what he does. I'm talking to Dagan Smith as well. Dagan's thinking about coming. My point is, guys, we've got some really good talent coming and sharing at this mastermind. And you're going to be in a very informal environment. So, for example, you'll be sitting around the pool, and you'll be able to talk to these people one-on-one. It won't be like your normal internet marketing event, where, I mean, let's face it. When you go to an internet marketing seminar, the speakers, especially if they're really famous or if they're really well known, they don't want to talk to everyone in the audience, because usually, to put this nicely, there's a lot of people in the audience who are completely, you know, they're new to the industry. They're not really all that committed to the business, and they have 1,000 questions, and it's very draining for that person who's just been up on stage. However, at a mastermind like this, it's a lot more relaxed, and just by sheer virtue that you are in the room, tells these people, these multi-millionaires who've been around in the industry for a long time, it tells them that you're a serious player in the industry, that you're actually very serious about doing well in this business, and they're much more comfortable opening up and talking with you freely. Okay, so you're going to be in that environment 3 days and 4 nights, all expenses paid, and the best part is you get to bring a guest. That can be your wife, your husband, one of your kids, business partners. You can bring them as a guest, and they are completely paid for, and they also get to come into the room as well. So when we're doing the sessions and we're teaching, they get to come as well. And also when we go and do fun activities, when we rent out jet skis, or we go horse riding on the beach, or fishing, or playing golf, or on the zip lines, or in the AVs, or the buggies. That's the fun part. I'm telling you, I was there a few months ago, and we rented out these buggies where we're cruising along in the sand dunes, and we're getting air. We're going that fast that we're actually getting air. It's not for everyone. It's definitely like an adrenaline ride, but you'll have the option to do that when you come to Cabo, and it's all paid for. It's all paid for. All you have to do is show up. We even pick you up from the airport. You show up, everything's taken care of for you and your guest. So whoever your guest is, they're going to be very happy to be invited by you. So I want to stress, it's not a seminar. This is an experience. It truly is an experience. Those are my feet, by the way. Those are my feet. That's on the beaches of Fiji, sitting, relaxing at our last Platinum Mastermind. You're going to be able to do a lot of relaxing, but it's also going to be fairly intensive. You're going to be learning a lot, okay? So I recommend you get there a day early. I'm telling everyone who's coming to Titanium, get there 1 day early so you can just relax and stay, you know, just have fun at the resort, because there's a lot to do. Now, as part of Titanium, you're also going to get one-on-one wealth and pure freedom coaching. So you're going to be working with one of our qualified Titanium coaches. Over 5 sessions, they're going to be working with you one-on-one, showing you exactly what you need to do well in the business. And they will do that call with you, those 5 calls, over Skype or on the phone, whichever you prefer. I recommend Skype because then they can share their screen with you, and it's like you're sitting there looking over their shoulder, okay? And they're guiding you through step by step what you need to be doing. Now, as part of Titanium, we're also going to generate 500 leads just for you, and we're going to put them onto your list. Okay, 500 leads onto your list. You'll be able to do whatever you want with these leads. If you want to market anything, whether it's MOBE or any other program, that's completely up to you. It's your list. Okay, this is really just to give you a head start. Now, so Titanium, it's the Titanium level commissions, 3K, Carby San Lucas, 3-day mastermind experience, all paid for 2, one-on-one coaching, and 500 fresh new leads. Now, for those of you who want to take this to the next level, and you're not happy with 6 figures, you are genuinely striving towards 7 figures in this industry, Platinum is for you. Now, Platinum, you get access to the upgraded compensation plan. Now, this one actually pays you $5,000 commissions. Okay, so every time you make a license sale, not only can you get the 1K and the 3K from Titanium, but now you can make an extra $5,000 per sale. Now, this is what I'm excited about. I just got back from Costa Rica a few weeks ago. I was over there again, staying at all these resorts. I have a pretty hard job, don't I? Staying at all of these different resorts and choosing the right one for this mastermind. Now, this one is 5 days and 6 nights. It's a little bit longer than Titanium because the topic for this one is all about wealth creation and wealth retention. You see, marketing can give you the ultimate freedom when it comes to cash flow. If you get really good at internet marketing, you can have money coming in all day, okay? And you can have it coming in pretty quickly too. But there's a slight problem. When you start making large sums of money and you've never had large sums of money, you will likely do what most people do who haven't had large sums of money. You will find a way to spend it. Most internet marketing gurus, let me tell you this is a little insider secret. Most of those gurus that you hear about, the ones that I've met, and I've met quite a few of them, a lot of them, they need next week's launch to pay for last week's rent at their mansion. I mean, that's just how it is. They live this high fast-paced, style life, luxury lifestyle, but they're not doing that well when you look at their cash flow. The money comes in pretty quickly, but it goes out as well. So they're constantly having to come up with new launches and new promotions just to be able to pay for the Ferrari. That's how it is. Most of them are they're not good at managing their money. Put it this way. I myself, all the money that I make, I'm still a very frugal guy to this day. I don't have flashy cars. I don't even travel first class when I fly. I live a fairly modest lifestyle. However, most of what I make, I keep. And I take that money and I put it to work to make more money. People ask me all the time, what are you doing this for? Are you trying to make a certain amount of money? And I tell them, no. For me, it's fun, and there is no limit on what I want to make. I just want to see how far can I take this. That's really what drives me. There is no limit. I'm not looking to get to X amount of dollars. I'm just looking to see how far can I take this. Now, the point of telling you this is when you start making good money in MOBE, like you start doing what John's doing, almost $250,000 in commissions in his first year. If you get to that level and you have that much money coming in, I don't want you to go and blow it. I want you to invest it. I want you to invest most of it and then watch that $250,000 turn into $500,000 and then watch that turn into $1 million. And long term, put yourself in such a situation where you don't ever have to worry about money again. It doesn't even enter your mind. And I'll tell you, that's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling when you don't have to even think about money because you know that you're covered. Okay, you know that You've got enough wealth in the bank and in your investments that you don't even have to worry. If you want to go to Thailand for the weekend, or you want to go to Bali or Hawaii, you can do those kind of things, and it's not even really going to put a dent in the wealth that you have. That's what Platinum's all about. It's going to be in Costa Rica. It's a beautiful place. I went down there, and I'd never been there before until about a month ago. Lots and lots of forests. That's the first thing that stood out for me. There's lots and lots of forests. Beautiful beaches, lots of surfing, things like that. Really nice weather. It's really warm. It's a little bit humid, but it's really nice and warm. They have their dry season, their wet season. Either one, it's really, really nice. So that's Platinum. That's all expenses paid as well. Okay, all expenses paid as well, and you get to bring a guest. But this will be a mastermind where you're learning from wealth experts. Insider strategies of the rich. It's not what you make, but what you keep. Okay, so it's about, like, one of the things, just as an example, one of the things that you'll learn at Platinum, how to lower your taxes. Do it legally. Did you know most people pay way too much tax in terms of what they can and what they should? So one of the things we talk about at Platinum is how do you set your business up the right way? How do you structure it so you are the most tax efficient? Let's put it that way. Learn easy and completely legal tax saving strategies, high safe returning investments the rich use and keep to themselves. Do you really think that the wealthy are presented with the same investment opportunities as Main Street? Main Street, by the time that Main Street hears about most investment opportunities, they are no longer attractive investment opportunities. It's already gone on. The really wealthy people in this world usually hear about these investments before everyone else. Why? Because the people who are offering the investments, they want to go to people with money, right? Does that make sense? When you come to Platinum, you get access to these kind of investments that you would normally never get access to at home. These aren't the kind of investments you see in the newspaper or on the news. These are the kind of investments that you only get offered if you know the right people or if you're a Platinum member. Now, as part of Platinum, you will get to work with a qualified Platinum coach. Now, a Platinum coach is someone who themselves, they're in Platinum, they're getting results, and you get an additional 10 sessions. So all up, you're going to get 15 one-on-one sessions. You can do that over 15 weeks if you want. You can do a session every 2 weeks, so it will take 30 weeks all up. But you'll be working with these people one-on-one, and they're going to be showing you exactly what you need to do to get your business up and running. We're also going to give you another 1,000 leads onto your list. Okay, so you get 500 leads from Titanium. We're also going to give you another 1,000 leads onto your list. 1,500 leads all up. For me, 1,500 leads was the magic number. Getting to 1,500 leads on your own, it's not easy. And I really struggled to get to that level. It took me probably about a year. However, once I got to that level, the next 1,000 came relatively easy. And now, you know, making a few thousand leads, getting a few thousand leads a week is nothing. That's just part of our business. My point is, though, once you get to above 1,500 leads, I don't know why, but it's almost like they attract other leads, if that makes sense. It becomes much easier to get more and more leads. Now, here's a really cool perk of being in Platinum. Have you ever sat down to write an email and struggled with what you should write about? You didn't know what to write that day. What I've actually done is I've got my own copywriter, and he's going to be writing emails for you every single day. Every single day, you're going to have an email that you copy, paste, and send out to your list. Now, these emails will be written, so they're already promoting MOBE. You literally copy, paste, send out to your list. It's going to take you about 3 to 4 minutes per day. Now, if you want, you can modify them slightly. Okay, you can tweak them so they fit your style, but you don't have to. It's completely up to you. 60K in 60 days. Who wants to make 60K in 60 days? Who would like to know how to do that? what I did a little while ago, I sat down and I created a course over 60 days, which was about 9 weeks. And every week I did a webinar. And each webinar went for maybe 90 minutes to a little bit over 2 hours. And I walked through exactly what you would need to be doing day by day to make $60,000 in commissions in MOBE. Exactly what you need to be doing. So how many sales you need to be doing of this particular product, how many leads you need to be getting, that many sales, where exactly you would go and find those leads, and I broke it down step by step. And I put that into a 9-week program. Now, as part of Platinum, I'm going to give this to you completely for free. So this is essentially you working with me one-on-one when you go through this course, when you go through these videos, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do those kind of numbers. Now, it will be up to you to go and implement it, and I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it's easy, okay? There will be a little bit of work involved, but if you really push it, if you really go for it, you can do that. You can do that, especially with those higher ticket commissions. 3K and 5K, plus the 1K from license sales, that's up to $9,000 per customer who gets fully positioned in the business. If you get 6 of those over 2 months, which is, what is that? That's about 1 every 10 days or something like that. If you get 1 every 10 days, that would give you $60,000. You think you can get 1 customer to get fully positioned in 10 days? It's very possible as long as you have the right lead flow and you're getting the right leads. My Inner Circle newsletter. Every single month I send out my Inner Circle newsletter. It arrives in your mailbox at your house, and it's usually about 20-30 pages long, and it shares exactly what I'm doing right now in my business to get results. So as I learn new information and I get better and better at marketing, I share those new findings in the Inner Circle newsletter. It's normally $97 per month. However, as part of Platinum, you will get this completely for free. Okay, we will send this to your doorstep. We'll even pay for postage. You pay nothing, and you will get it completely for free for life. Okay, for life. You never have to pay the $97 per month again. This is what I'm excited about. And guys, just give me 1 second. I'm going to grab a quick drink. Okay, this is what I'm excited about. This is fairly recently that we've added this in. A little while ago, over a year ago in fact, I sat down and decided that I was going to generate 10,000 leads in the next 100 days. Now what made that interesting is at that point in time, my list was about 9,500 leads. And it had taken me 3 years to build my list up until that point. And I decided that in the next 3 months, I was going to get another 10,000 leads. I was effectively going to do, again, what had taken me 3 years in just a little over 3 months. So it was a big, big challenge. But I got very focused about achieving that goal. And by day 42, I had generated over 10,000 leads. And what I did is I documented every single day exactly what I was doing to get those leads. So I showed you, look, here's exactly where I went. I'm buying banner ads from this site, or I did a solo ad with this list. Here's what I paid. Here's exactly how many leads I got. Here's how many sales I got. Here's my ROI. And then you can pick and choose which ones you want to do. The advantage to you is that you're learning on my dime. You don't have to go and spend the money yourself to figure out what works. Okay, you don't have to do that. You just go through the course and you decide, okay, I'm going to do a banner ad where Matt did this banner ad. Or you decide I'm going to do this solo ad. And you just look exactly at what I did and then you go and do it. Okay, now this is normally sold for $19.97. That's what we sell it for every single day. We don't sell it for any less than that. And that's not perceived value or anything like that. That's what hundreds and hundreds of people have invested in this program. You're actually going to get this completely for free as part of Platinum. Now, who would like to speak at one of my events? Usually when I ask this question, not everyone's so excited because, let's face it, public speaking, not everyone really gets excited, but some people do. But I will tell you that the day that I did my first ever live presentation on stage at an internet marketing seminar, that was a real turning point in my business, because suddenly now I had this video of me on stage positioned as the guru. Now, when you come along to our mastermind, to one of our live events like the Home Business Summit or Supercharge, and you are Platinum, you will have the opportunity to come up on stage. Now, you will have to get a little bit of training before. Okay, so what I've actually done is I partnered up with a company called Speaking Empire. If you haven't heard of Speaking Empire, they're one of the top speaking training companies in America right now, and they have an event, and I think they sell tickets for $3,000 or something like that, and you come along and they show you how to get good. I've actually partnered up with them so we can offer you a free ticket to their event when you become Platinum. You don't pay anything to go to their event. They will train you up, and then I will offer you the opportunity to speak on stage at one of my events as part of the Home Business Summit or Supercharged Seminar. So if you want that opportunity, it's there for you. Oh, and this is pretty cool too. I've got a little confession to make. In fact, this is quite timely. I give a lot of money away to our phone sales team. And why do I do that? Because they're the people who bring in the high ticket sales on the back end. I want to motivate them to do well. Now, the reason why I said this is timely is because yesterday I did the wires. I did all the wires where I paid 4 people on this phone team. Okay, 4 particular people on the phone team, and I had to pay them. And for 2 weeks, their collective earnings were $45,000. Okay, the way it broke down is 2 of them were around the $5,000 or $6,000 mark, and then the other 2 were closer to about $18,000 each. Now you have a think about that. Have a think about that, how much money that is to make in 2 weeks. That's good money. That's anywhere from $150,000 per year to about $600,000 per year. That's the kind of numbers they're making, and it's going up and up and up, especially with the introduction of my top tier business. Now the reason why I tell you that is because if you are good on the phone, or you have any desire to get good on the phone, I had one of our top phone sales reps, a guy called Michael Oliver, who does naturalselling.com. He's got a big training company where he teaches people how to sell on the phone without high pressure, without fear, anxiety, or anything like that. And he created a 10-week course. Frankly, we don't even really sell this. We don't even make this available to the public. It's only available to those who are in Platinum. But you will actually get this for free, and everyone who becomes Platinum, you will get a shot at being on our phone team, where you can make up to $4,000 per customer that you look after. You will get a trial, at least, bare minimum. But this program will show you how to get good. So you want to go through this program if that's what you want to do. Now guys, I want to offer 3 extra little perks just to really help you get up and running and help you do well. This is only, by the way, this is only for those of you who've stuck on this webinar. You're still here with me, and there's quite a few of you. I really appreciate you guys being here as well. I know it's getting a little bit late over there in the States, but I want to offer you a little gift for staying on this webinar and for being with me here tonight. So titanium, like I said, it's in Cabo San Lucas, and this is what you're looking at. This is called Lover's Arch. It's a famous icon in Cabo San Lucas, and we'll actually be going there on a cruise ship. We're renting out a couple of cruise ships, and we're going on a sunset cruise, so you'll be seeing this in person. But anyway, that's a 3-day event. There's actually a 4th bonus day. Now the 4th bonus day is where some people will get in 1 day early, and it will be a much smaller, more exclusive group, and they're going to get a lot more of my one-on-one time. I'm going to be working with them a lot more one-on-one because it's a much smaller group. Now it's going to be priced at $2,000, somewhere around that level. We haven't quite released it yet, but we will very, very soon. However, for those of you who get positioned at Titanium and Platinum, you're going to be able to come to this completely for free. All expenses paid, so the extra resort night, the extra day of food, drinks, entertainment, everything will be paid for. Plus, you won't have to pay $2,000 for it. This will be a bonus day where you are working with me more one-on-one. You're getting a lot more time, and I'm going to be able to sit down and really hone in on your business. You will get to come to this completely for free when you get positioned as a Titanium and Platinum Mastermind member as a result of being on this webinar. Now, on top of that, I'm actually going to be bringing quite a few professional camera people because we want to get like lots of footage and photos of this event. But on that extra day, we will be doing a private photo shoot with those of you who get fully positioned who are on this webinar right now. Now, have you ever noticed that all the really well-known internet marketing gurus, if you go and look at their blogs or their Facebook fan pages, some of them, I mean, they look like models in their photos. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but I certainly have. They look really good. Now, is it because they just happen to be really good looking? Not always. I mean, there's lots of gurus who aren't. But yet, in their photos, they look really high-end and really polished. And that's because they have a really, really good photographer. They do the makeup, everything like that, and they look like rock stars. They look like they just stepped onto the carpet at the Oscars or something like that in Hollywood. This is what we're going to be able to do for you. Okay, when you come to the bonus day, because you got positioned after being on this webinar, we're going to give you a bonus private celebrity shoot. By the way, if you go on and pay for one of these as you normally would, retail, you're looking at $1,000 bare minimum. You're going to get this completely for free because you got positioned at Titanium and Platinum from being on this webinar. Last of all, this is just for those of you on the webinar. Please don't repeat this in the groups or anything like that. But when you come to Titanium, you and I, we're going to go and sit on the side somewhere on one of the days. And we're going to sit in front of a nice backdrop. It could be the ocean, it could be the pool at the resort, it could be whatever you want, really. And I'm going to sit down with you, and we're going to make a short 3-minute video. And in that video, I'm essentially going to endorse you and say, hey, you need to get on this person's list. You need to go ahead. There should be a little opt-in box below this video. Go ahead, put in your email address, get on this person's list. Why? Because they're a Titanium member, they've got a ton of value, and there's someone in this industry that you want to learn from. It's going to be something along those lines. We'll make it a little bit better than that. My point is, though, you will have me endorsing you in a video. Now, if you're promoting MOBE, what do you think that's worth? What do you think it's worth to have the CEO and founder of a company saying that you're the person to learn from in a video? That's the first thing that your prospects see. Do you think they're going to want to get on your list and they're going to want to listen to what you have to say? Of course they will. You're going to get this completely for free. I don't even offer this for a price because I'm very careful about who I would ever endorse, but I will endorse you if you become Titanium and Platinum because obviously you're taking your business pretty seriously to do that. So all up, Titanium and Platinum level commissions. As part of being Platinum, you get those extra 5K commissions. You get to come to Costa Rica early next year, 5 days, 6-night mastermind, and learn everything about wealth there is to know about it. One-on-one wealth and pure freedom coaching, 15 one-on-one sessions with a Platinum coach. Mega Profits list, 1,000 fresh new leads. That's in addition to the 500 you get with Titanium. All up, you'll have 1,500 leads on your list. Virtual copywriter, 60K in 60 days, rapid results program. The Inner Circle newsletter sent to your doorstep every single month. Speak at an upcoming seminar if you want. High ticket phone sales mastery. You get to go through that 10-week course that Michael Oliver put together. And then that way, if you decide that you ever want to start selling to your own leads, instead of 1K, 3K, and 5K, you get 1K, 5K, and 9K. I forgot to mention that. I should have mentioned that. If you sell your own leads using our systems and you elect to do all your own phone calls, you're actually getting up to $15,000 per customer. 1K, 5K, and 9K. 15K all up. Bonus, Cabo San Lucas extra day. You get to come 1 day early and hang out, and you don't have to pay the $2,000 for that. Hotel, food, everything's paid for. Celebrity shoot and branding package, that's all taken care of. And we'll be doing that on the beaches of Mexico, in front of the resort. We'll make you look like a professional. Bonus done with you, opt-in video. You and I will sit down and make a video together. I want to ask you just maybe 3 questions. If all this system did for you was allowed you to get an extra titanium and platinum commission every month, which would be $8,000, which would be $96,000 extra per year, would it be worth it for you to go ahead and do it for an extra $96,000 per year? If all this did for you was allowed you to be able to go to the Titanium Mastermind and come hang out with millionaires in Cabo San Lucas in less than 2 months, and then come to Costa Rica for 5 days and 6 nights and bring a guest to both of them, all expenses paid for, and learn investment strategies of the rich, would it be worth it just for that? And by the way, if you want to bring your kids for a small extra fee, you can bring your kids as well to the resorts and to these masterminds. If all this system did for you was finally allowed you to quit that job so you can spend more time at home with your kids doing what you want, you can wake up when you want, would it be worth it for you to do it just for that? If you can answer yes to any of those 3 questions, and here's what I'm going to ask for. So I know that you're serious about doing this and that you're taking this, you're treating this like a real business. We're going to get on a call together, and I'm going to ask for a small commitment from you before we do that call. I'm going to ask you to put down a $1,000 real person deposit. Why am I going to do that? If we don't have any little screening process in place, we're going to get every single person on this webinar right now applying. Now, not everyone is right for titanium and platinum. Not everyone is right for this program. Those of you who are right for the program, you won't have any problem with putting down $1,000, and here's why. If you decide that titanium and platinum is for you, that $1,000 will be credited towards the investment. Okay, meaning it won't be any extra. It will be credited towards the investment. If after doing that strategy call you decide, no, this is not for me, this is not the right thing for me to be doing at this time for myself, for my family, you're going to tell us that on the phone, or you're going to tell us that on support, or you're going to tell me that directly on Facebook, however you like, and we're going to promptly refund you the $1,000. Okay, you're not going to, not going to be any hassles. There's no other purpose of doing this than to just make sure that we're talking to the right people. That's all it is. So if you decide that, look, I want to know more, I want to get on the phone with someone and do a strategy session, and I want to find out whether this is the right thing for me to be doing right now, then you can go ahead and put down $1,000 at partnerwithmobe.com. Do me a favor, if you don't mind, if you can open up your browser and go to that page. It's a brand new page we just put up, and I want to make sure that's all set up correctly. It should forward you to an application page. Okay, put down $1,000 again. That will be credited towards the investment if you decide to go ahead. If you don't, then no problem. We'll simply refund it and you'll have that right back on your card. So again, here's my guarantee. Take action now, complete the application, and put down a deposit. If you aren't accepted into the mastermind, or you simply decide, look, it's not for me, your 1K deposit will simply refund that. Now, this is definitely just for those of you on the webinar. Please do not mention this in the groups or anywhere. Here's what I'm going to do. If you decide to get positioned as titanium and platinum, and in your first 30 days, this is just for those of you on this webinar, but if in your first 30 days you have not made at least $1,000, I am going to place a MOBE licensee under you. Okay, I'm going to find someone who already became a MOBE licensee, who is directly under me, meaning they're not under any other partner. They came in through one of my separate ads out there, and I'm going to place them in your organization. Why am I going to do that? Well, when they step up to titanium and platinum, guess who gets 3K and 5K? You will. Okay, you will get that commission. So in a way, I'm virtually guaranteeing you that you're going to get results here and you're going to build a team. This is just for those of you on this webinar right now, and this is an offer, a guarantee, an extra guarantee that only I can make. I don't know if you recognize this guy here on the left. His name's David Fellini. He's a French guy. I think he lives in America now, but David became platinum. I made him that exact same guarantee I just made on the previous page. He came to Fiji to our platinum mastermind. Okay, that's where we did our last platinum mastermind. This is him on stage, and he brought his wife up on stage. She didn't know what she was up there for. You can see she looks a little bit like, what am I doing up here? And in front of about 100 people, he told her that he was buying her a brand new Mercedes Benz, one that she'd always wanted, because he was doing really well in MOBE. She didn't know about it, and she cried. And I'll be honest, I even had a tear in my eye. In fact, I think like everyone in the room did. It was one of those kind of Oprah moments, but it was a good moment. Now, the way that he had got that Merc, not many people know this, but when David was deciding to become Titanium and Platinum, I did make him that special extra guarantee I just made you. That if you don't get a result, I'm going to place someone under you. And I ended up placing someone under him. Now, this person didn't become Titanium and Platinum. However, they were a good marketer, and they went and started getting sales. They went and started building a team. Now, with the way our compensation plan works, because David was fully positioned, all of those people coming in from this licensee we placed in his team, when a few of them stepped up to Titanium and Platinum, guess who got 3K and 5K commissions? David did. His income was completely residual, so he had like $8,000 days. That's how he got the Merc. Completely, when I say completely residual, I mean it. That's why I'm telling you, whatever happens, you're going to have someone in your team in 30 days. Okay, whatever happens, I'm going to make sure you do if you become Titanium and Platinum and you are on this webinar right now. So really the question is, are you worth the investment? Don't think about it, you know, that it's for me or for anyone else. It's really not, because at the end of the day, you are investing here in yourself. You're investing in a business that is capable of getting the income that you really want, and that income funding the lifestyle you really want. It's available for you now. You're just going to make a decision. Am I ready to live that lifestyle that I've always wanted? Am I worth the investment? If you think you are, go to partnerwithmobe.com right now. Go ahead, put in your name, email, address, details, go through that. There will be a big apply now button at the bottom. Click that button, and then we're going to get on a call together. You and I, or possibly one of our top tier coaches, will get on a call together, and the call could last for 15 minutes, it could last for 45 minutes, however long the call takes, that's how long it will take. We're going to ask you about your specific circumstances right now, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to get to. You're going to have the opportunity to ask anything you want about Titanium and Platinum. That's the place where you want to get all your questions answered. So if you have any questions right now, do the strategy session. That's where you're going to get all your questions answered. If you decide it's not for me, the $1,000 will be instantly refunded back onto your credit card. Okay, don't even worry about that. Again, the $1,000 is really just for us to screen who's serious from who's not. That's all that's for. If you decide to go ahead with it, we'll credit that towards your Titanium and Platinum investment. But guys, that's the question you're left with. Are you worth the investment? I mean, I can't answer that for you. That's really up for you to decide. If you think you are, take action now. Go to partnerwithmobe.com, apply, get positioned today, and I really look forward to seeing you in Cabo San Lucas. I look forward to seeing you at Platinum in Costa Rica in 2014. Look forward to talking with you one-on-one, and most importantly, well, most excitingly, when you do get your first Titanium or Platinum commission, 3K and 5K, I'm going to be the one who reaches out to you one-on-one and tells you, because I always get excited about that, especially when I see a brand new Platinum member have their first $8,000 day. That's what gets me excited. So if you want that, go to partnerwithmobe.com right now and let's get you started today. Alright. Now guys, by the way, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and, actually we've got quite a few. Go ahead, just do the strategy session if you want, and either you and I will talk on the phone or one of our coaches will. See how many people we have on the call. Alright, most of you are still on the call, so guys, I really want to thank you for sticking on. I hope you've got some value. Let's talk on the phone. Do a strategy session. You'll talk to myself or you'll talk to Max or Michael, one of our top tier coaches. We'll get all your questions answered. If you're thinking about doing this and you just want to make sure it's the right thing for you, there's just a couple of small questions. Best way to get them answered, do a strategy session. Alright, so guys, that's about it. I'm just thinking, do I have anything else I want to tell you? The $50,000 cash contest. Keep an eye out for that. That's coming very soon. And what's really cool, many of you on this webinar right now, you're relatively new to MOBE, which means that you're still getting up and running. And more than likely, you don't want to be competing next to John Chow and guys like that doing hundreds of thousands of dollars, because they've got big lists and so on, and you're just getting started. Well, in this brand new contest, you're going to have your own category where you won't be competing against those people. You'll just be competing against other people who are new. So you're all on a very level playing field. So that's what makes this so exciting compared to any other contest we've done. And you'll be able to compete in both categories, which means if you do win both categories, I was going to tell you this in a few days, but I'll just tell you guys, just keep this between us. You're actually going to walk away with 32 grand in your pocket just for that first prize if you win both categories. But more about that soon. So guys, I want to thank you for sticking on to the end of this webinar. And again, go to partnerwithmobe.com. Let's do a strategy session and we'll talk real soon. Thanks guys. Good night. Bye for now.
The organizer has ended the session and this call will be disconnected.